Well, hello and welcome to this episode of Kennedy Saves the World. So, California is apparently not going to have Kamala Harris as a governor. I guess she has decided, she's told her inner circle, word has leaked out. She told Gavin Newsom and the lieutenant governor of California that she is not going to run. And, her one of her closest political advisors, Sean Clegg, said it's because she had reasonable doubts. If she were truly a public servant and wanted to save her state, she would run. She can't save her state, though, because Gavin Newsom is handing her an absolute steaming pile of rancid dog crap. And he has created and exacerbated so many problems in that state that literally everything she would be inheriting would be an absolute mess. And the only person who's going to make a success of that job is someone who is going to come in and gut the state. They need the Bobs. Remember from Office Space, and they need to re-interview everyone for their jobs and just sit every public servant in California down and say, so what would you say you do here? And they would all go, I'm a people person, God damn it. It's obviously in such horrendous shape that someone like Kamala Harris, who rose up through the California system, would never be able to fix the system that produced her, because that would require dismantling it. And if she were to dismantle it, she would also have to admit that the system is very deeply flawed. And she can't do that because she's incapable of self-reflection, which is funny because she has a book coming out in September called 107 Days, which is about her just meteoric rise to the bottom, because we think of meteors as going up, but then they crash into Earth and kill the dinosaurs, which is a perfect metaphor for what she has done with her political career. So one of her aides has said she has three distinct choice paths here. One is to run for governor, which she's not going to do, because not only would she have to dismantle said system, she would also most likely lose. And she would also most likely lose to a Democrat during the primary process, even though California has what's called a jungle primary. So regardless of party, it's the top two vote getters. They're the ones who go on to duke it out to see who gets to move to Sacramento. Yay! It's like the Brentwood of the North-ish. It's a great place. Wonderful part of California. Sacto. Move there immediately. So she would probably get defeated. And, there was one article that pointed out whoever ran against her, even if it was another Democrat, Republicans would grudge vote against Kamala Harris, even if it meant voting for a Republican or a Democrat for the first time in their state. And she has so much, she has such a massive, personally constructed headwind working against her, not only in California. So that was one of three choices. One, run for governor. She's not going to do that because she knows she would lose. The other is run again in 2028, because right now, in terms of polling, because of her name recognition, and she was our last vice president, and she ran for president unsuccessfully, that she might run again in 2028, internalizing all of these lessons learned, which, she has given no glimpse that there has been that critical self-reflection and painful analysis that is required to truly change course when you have failed. And she has failed utterly. And America does not like failures. America doesn't like to be reminded of failures. And she is not the kind of person who could stew for 4 years like Donald Trump did and come up with a plan that truly benefits the country. I wish she would. I mean, I hope that of anyone who seeks and achieves the presidency, that they're really doing it not for their own needs and to cement their own legacy and to make as much money as they can post-presidency, but to really benefit the country as much as possible. Say what you will about Donald Trump, but that's what he spent 4 years doing.
Don't go anywhere. More Kennedy Saves the World right after this.
I don't see her having the same introspection and energy And I don't think she would make it through the primary process. I cannot see the party coalescing behind her because they did that once and they got burned by it because she did not have the political acumen to pick a good vice president, let alone answer basic questions on liberal friendly outlets like The View when they were like, so, how would your presidency differ from the Biden presidency? She's like, no, I can't really say anything. It's like, not one thing. They're trying to help her out. Sonny Austin's like, nothing. And she's like, no, really. Because obviously she and Joe Biden had a deal. And he called her up and said, if I endorse you, they are going to make you the nominee. They are going to fast track you because it would be racist and misogynistic if they didn't with my endorsement. So I'm going to endorse you, but you cannot badmouth me at all. You have to say that I was wonderful and amazing and the best thing that ever happened to the country. And Biden's so delusional. He's like, and that's the only way you're going to win. And she's so dumb. She's like, that sounds great. So I'm sure if she's honest, the book would be all about how she is a dismal failure and how Republican voters would grudge vote against her. If she talked about all of her flaws, I'm sure Republicans would grudge read it because they want to hear how bad she is, and they want her to admit that. It's very sadistic, but she's neither smart nor deep enough to do that. So I can't imagine what this book is going to be because she thinks that, the only way she's going to seem presidential is if she writes a very presidential tome. Chin scratch. No, the only thing that would make people really interested is if she just turfed everyone and just starting with Dr. Joe Biden. They hate each other, but she won't do it. And if she showed that level of honesty, like, here's all the people I hate, and here's how they completely screwed me over, and I'm never listening to them again, and these are my great ideas, and if she actually had like two, lower taxes and cut spending, then people might go, I could give that another look. But she's not going to do that. And that is what makes this, I can already tell you, it is going to be boring and inauthentic, just like she is. So no one's going to buy the book. No one cares. She didn't sign a huge advance for it because it's uninspiring and it is backward looking. And that is the critique that she's getting from people within her own party. No one wants her to run. I mean, Doug Emhoff might, so he can just scroll through those 17-year-old Swedish adoptees that he'd like to bring to this country and really be a father figure for them. Because even 17-year-old Swedish bikini models need nannies, so he'd have to get one of those too. So, Kamala, good luck, babe. It didn't work out for you, and losing the California governorship, even just sidestepping that landmine, losing the presidential race in 2028. She can't run again if she doesn't run in 2028. So this is effectively the death knell for her political career. And I am aces with that. This has been Kennedy Saves the World. I'm Kennedy.
Listen ad-free with the Fox